camp said, I don't really have those extra clubs in my bag. I just consistently boom it far. No. No.
Right.
Not the right option. And what happened, I was looking at that. So off that, they punt. Yeah, and he punts it into the end zone. So they gained 20 yards.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 2 plays later, they were past where the Chiefs had been.
Why are you paying Creed Humphrey? Why are you paying Joe Tooney? Why are you paying Jawan Taylor? Why are you paying Patrick Mahomes? Why are you paying Travis Kelce? Why are you investing high picks in Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Kingsley Suamataia? If not for that moment, he cannot continue to think 7 points is, at worst we're in overtime. No. At worst, you're beat if they go down the field because they're going to go for 2. At best, you win by a point or they don't score. There are many ways to still win if you do that. But along the way, the offense looks like, especially when they get Hollywood Brown and they all get in sync, Samaje Perine knows where he's going and gets a feel for Patrick Mahomes' passes, and Mahomes gets a feel for how he runs, that this thing is going to be hell on wheels. Mm-hmm. You do not put it back on the defense. Your defensive coordinator stood at a podium all of training camp and said, we haven't had a number 2 step up. It hadn't happened. You're not paying Nick Bolton. You want to know why? Because he can't cover Isaiah Likely down the field. You've consciously made that decision.
That was the problem. The defensive backs were actually pretty good last.
They were,
yeah,
but my point is there is nothing about what they as a management team have said that you should look at and go, you know what I want to do? I want to let it all ride with the defense.
Right.
And also, you got to adjust to the fact that your team changes from year to year. This looks to me like it's going to be a completely different year. Now,
agreed.
Now, hopefully, it's not going to be
18.
a return to you've got to score 50 to win. But
then you might lose.
But it looks to me like the Chiefs 51, are, 27 is going to be a bad day at the office. I think today for this year for the Chiefs. Unless they're way ahead and they just run the ball down their throat in the second half and don't care, and it's 24-3. It's 24-3 at the half, and they win 27-10.
Baltimore was a great defensive team last year, right? They hung 27 points on them, had a turnover which Baltimore caused in some way. I know Mahomes just threw a bad pass, but to your point,
they pressured him.
I don't think 61. No offense to who was it? Was it Rodney?
Yeah,
who had him hanging 61. He's like, they left 34 points on the board. I'm not going to go to 61, but Rodney's right. They left points on the board. Minimum 8, right? Minimum 8. And so if you're going to be able to put those kind of totals up, then you're paying all the money on the offensive side of the ball. What is the split now?
7 yards per play.
Yeah, they averaged more yards per play than Baltimore did in the game.
Baltimore just ran 30 more plays.
Now, the Chiefs came up little weak at certain moments. They got a turnover in plus 30 and a turnover on downs at midfield, and they got 2 field goals. That's not good. So are those the 8 points you're considering that they left on the field?
Yeah, well, both that they settled for field goals in the red zone. Yeah.
So, I think that you can take a look at this game and really decide how you want to view it, positively or negatively. I'm viewing it positively generally, but that doesn't mean that on this particular night that was an escape. I mean, it's one toe. 30 years ago, the Chiefs lose, or whatever it was that whenever they started replay. Before that, they lose the game.
Yep.
Okay, old-timey football, Chiefs lose.
Yeah,
and no real squabble. You might later on say,
Lamar Jackson said, I still think it was a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is wrong with him.
I mean,
you can't.
Ravens did not cover themselves in post-game glory.
No.
I mean, Lamar's no prize winner at the mic anyway, but let's not just compound it by saying something tacitly stupid. I mean, come on, man. Do better. Know when to shut up. Because he doesn't really, I don't think he likes doing it, and he's not good at it. So then don't say something dumb on top of it.
Yeah.
The whole world could see, it wasn't even arguable. Now, it was close. It was a toe. It was an inch. But it was an obvious inch.
Yeah.
If you were the Ravens, you were hoping that his foot was up in the air. That was the only hope. And then you saw the replay, and it was He was pointing down like a ballet dancer at that point.
It was
Still
just
pointing.
He had just enough toe on the line to be obvious.
Right.
To be indisputable.
Right.
I mean, well, I don't know. Is there some green in there?
Well, Mahomes said he did wear white cleats next time. If you wore white cleats, maybe you can't tell what it is.
He had to go wear those Dions.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
Yep.
It is the program here on Sports Radio 810
paid.
WHB. Danny Clinkscale is with us, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. They partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and now a portion of every job Easton Roofing does goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters, locally owned and operated, a part of the community, giving back to the community. That's very important to Joe Spiker and his team at Easton Roofing. Find them online at eastonroofing.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Did you experience hail damage last year and never got the work done? Most insurance companies only give you a year to get the roof fixed. And if you don't get it done, you could possibly not be compensated in full for the replacement of your roof. If you've been procrastinating getting that damaged roof taken care of, give us a call at 913-257-5426. And we'll send out an expert to help you through the process. We're never pushy, we're just here to help. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
All right, the Twin Peaks, end of the hour answer.
I nailed this.
You did. Xavier Worthy, second wideout with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in his first NFL game. Who is the other?
Well, he nailed it, and I heard it. So
no,
why play games?
No
here?
drama.
Rick Upchurch.
Rick Upchurch in 1976 did it against the Chiefs. Ironically.
Really?
Yep, September 21st. He tortured the Chiefs his first couple of years. More known as a punt return guy.
Yes.
He's one of the first, had 4 in a single season. There are 6 players who have done it. The last to do it before Worthy was Kareem Hunt back in 2017. The others, DJ Dozier, Kelvin Bryant, and James Brooks. There's some good dudes in that group, but just the second wideout to do it, and he's the only player to have a rushing touchdown of 20 yards and a receiving touchdown of 20 yards in his first NFL game.
One of the
Xavier
fine
Worthy,
purveyors of the stylish hip towel.
Rick Upchurch?
Yes. Which was a cool thing if you were cool.
Yes.
If you were cool.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah. We're talking to Danny Clinkscale here. We just gave away a little Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Great spot to watch the games. Royals baseball tonight. If you're not going out to the ballpark, get to Twin Peaks. TVs everywhere. 29-degree man-sized draft beers. Made from scratch menu. And, of course, the most scenic views anywhere in town. Happy hour, the best one they got in the city, is right there at Twin Peaks. What are you waiting for? Find the location nearest you at twinpeaksrestaurant.com. Independence, Olathe, and in the Northland. Danny Clinkscale is with us here at myfreightworld.com. If you're looking for a new career, click on the careers tab at myfreightworld.com. Danny, so what do you think Xavier Worthy is going to be when it's all said and done?
I'm not taking this game and sending him to the Hall of Fame at this point in time.
Come on.
I think that his electrifying speed was on display and wonderful. The play was unbelievably well blocked,
including Kingsley Sumontea coming from left tackle to seal
Kingsley's,
the right side of that lane.
That was probably Kingsley's highlight moment on what was an indifferent night for him. But
I think it was probably one of the great play designs.
Yes.
Because they pull Trey Smith left to sell that they're going to run the ball left. And most of the Baltimore defense goes that direction. And they didn't pull anybody the other way. It's not a counter Trey. They all just went to the next level. All the linemen just get out of dodge and start heading downfield. And there's plenty of Ravens to make a tackle if you're not fast. Like, I don't think Rashee Rice gets but about 3 or 4 yards on that. But that play was designed for the fastest guy in the history of the NFL Combine to get by those guys before they could get to him. And then once he did that, there was a convoy in front of him. I mean, that is.
And even through the convoy, there were still guys who might have had a shot. He just beat him to the point of attack.
It was a great play design.
It sure was.
Understanding what it is you've got there to work with.
And I still hold out the possibility that he's going to be a gadget-type player. But, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. But
Sammy Watkins had big days.
Yeah.
Right? But was never game.
And he didn't, they blew a coverage and he caught the ball. Good.
Yeah.
Good. You know, he's probably
hold on.
He said they were talking. There were other people saying that they were focusing on him. They were talking about his speed. So he could have easily been the one who caused the confusion. There's no question about that. Yeah. But, I'm not going to give him extra points for catching a wide-open ball.
Well, I will, because I watched him drop it all year last year. I will. Over Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, I will give him a big smiley face sticker and a star, and I'll underscore it in orange highlighter, and I'll circle it, and I'll put some exclamation points by it.
It's more like you would have done that if he dropped it. But,
but I mean, like,
we've seen too much of it.
We know he can run.
Yeah.
What we wondered was, can he catch? And can he play wide out?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Spot? Yeah.
Well, they blew a coverage. And he didn't run over by a defender.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, he ran a real route. Kadarius Toney can do, all he could do is turn and, I'm ready. Like, literally could not run a route. I mean,
he saw that they blew the coverage and he went deep.
And also,
I don't even know what pattern he was running. He could have been running out for all that.
He gets it.
Right. So a lot of people last night, including his quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, talking about, again, how that speed – and we saw it in the one preseason game, which he caught the touchdown pass. Later, Justin Watson got one in an open area that was caused by the other teams, the Bears, I guess it was, committing to where he was because of his speed. That thing was open. That happened again last night on apparently on a number of plays. I haven't gone back and looked at the film. We'll hear more from Seth Kaiser and those guys next week. But they spent so much time when he was on the field. Tracking where he was because of his speed, that there were spots in the middle of the field that were open because of that. So
that's the narrative. He was targeted 2 other times and caught one. So, I'm not going crazy, but I didn't see anything that made me feel like he's not worthy of the draft pick. He can run like the absolute wind. The other, real concern about him is that he's tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really tiny. Now, if he's never going to get touched, if he's going to play flag football all the time, then the only problem for him could be pulling a hamstring. But he's small. There's no question about that. So if they are running reverses and those are plays that sometimes you take, the big shot.
You get blown up. Somebody splits a gap.
But I'm much more, for this season, I'm much more thinking that your real meat and potatoes is going to be Rashee Rice, and he's going to be there for dessert.
Didn't it look like the Chiefs?
Tasty dessert.
Didn't it look like the Chiefs had saw on tape? This Rashee Rice inside slant is going to be open all night long, and we're going to run it until they stop it. And
I thought there was a good analysis in the fact that they thought they could bait Mahomes into interceptions with a robber, and he was reading.
And then he threw over the robber the one time. He was
throwing over the robber. So. Yes, it's Andy Reid. It's Patrick Mahomes. Right. They know what they're doing.
And the Bengals are going to be ready for it in a week, in 2 days, but they're going to run that exact same formation and run something completely different off of it. I mean, there's never an end of almost everything
I don't
they
even
do
think
seems to have 5 legs to it.
I don't even think the Chiefs really – they were down a big weapon, and I don't think they executed great. And they dropped a few balls, and they scored –
They still almost got to 30.
And they scored 27 anyway. Yeah, so – I think there's going to be multiple games this year where they're going to score that as this game is flowing along, we're like, well, the Chiefs are going to win this game without trouble, and then boy, are they drama queens. Those words came out of my mouth, and I think this year maybe it's not going to be the same thing, but good heavens, they have an unbelievable knack for taking a game that they've got by the throat and just trying to create drama to the finish. I mean,
punting on 4th and 4 at the other team's 40. I mean,
not punching it in on when they get the turnover. All kinds of things.
They're in on the
game should have
been. Danny.
Game should have been put to bed. I mean, it should have. But in the end, they almost lost. So. That's the threatening part of it.
Yes.
That's what the lesson should be. That you fiddly farted around with the game you should have won by 17 points, and you almost lost.
I would say they could have put the game away. I'll stay away. I'll respect Baltimore's ability enough to not say should have. Like Baltimore's,
I'm good with that.
On scholarship as well. But I agree with the point, and it's why I'll come back and underscore. Andy Reid has got to manage the game based upon thinking that the other team is going to go for it on 4th down, the other team is going to go for 2, and he has to be prepared for that. Like him standing, if he had been standing at the podium last night, like what we'd have been talking about punting at their 40 on
Right.
4th and 4. You know, like why did all the different spots? Like you had a chance.
The
for
drops.
points. Yeah, I mean, but
There have been a lot